the thing that would be most unique to there, as opposed to any other place, is probably the culture and people. And I don't see that much different in culture. Like I meet people from around the world, and we get and become friends. But still, something about the essence of like in Israel, you can approach anyone you want, whenever you want, on the streets, and it will be completely normal. Or like, for one time I went to buy buckets because I went to play buckets in London. Actually, I didn't do it in the end, but I went to buy buckets to bask in London in the street. And I went on the street in Israel, and I saw a guy, and asked him, there's like a bucket or like a building equipment thing, like buckets, and perfect stranger, and he said, "Why do you need buckets?" It's like, it will never happen here. People will either, I don't know, they will just direct you to where you need, or they say, I don't know. And then I said to drum on them, and then he said, "Don't you have a drum set?" Just
straight conversation.
Yeah, and then he said, "Are you poor? Can you not afford the drum set?" So it's not like people are uncivilized, but they're just, it's like free to talk whenever you want, and they can be loud, and they can be, but in a cool way. It doesn't feel so different from you, I think. But it is, I like this also, his freedom.
That reminds me of Ghana, sorry to interrupt. That reminds me of Ghana too, because I remember speaking to friends when I went back. I remember this scene, I was in a bus with my mum. We were just talking. We were talking about something else, like something. And then the guy obviously is a packed bus. There's a guy behind us that's just sitting there listening. Then he just interjects into a he just says, "Oh no, you should do this." And like, there's the imam, you need to tell him to do this. I don't, so who are you? Like, I don't even know you.
Introduce yourself. Today you tell me what to do.
Exactly, like, but there it's just like, if you're around me, you're a human being, everyone's fair game. Whereas obviously here it's like, I don't even care if you're sitting next to me, I'll never speak to you. Yeah, but there is more loud, is more, I think there's a community, I think that's what it is, because I've realized, I think there's that community aspect that kind of like the reason why, you know, like there's another way where it's like, if you're a kid and you're misbehaving outside, another adult could come and tell you stop, or could like discipline you, even though your mom's not there. If you go tell your mom will discipline you twice. Even why did you listen to him? What were you doing? So there's like that kind of culture, you know. Is that similar or is that different? How similar is that? Like how compact the culture is and how together everyone is.
I think in Israel it's just I wasn't aware of any of it growing up, but I think it's a small country with its own language. Like there's no other country in the world that speaks Hebrew. None. It's a very like, now we are living 9 million people in Israel. So when I was a child, probably, I don't know, 4 or something. So I think it creates a very like you said, like a community. Not necessarily a community like everyone is friends or loving each other. That's not the way. There are a lot of complicated animosities in Israel as well. But like the sense of we are in the same boat. I know what I'm talking about. I know what you're talking about. You know, if you encounter with someone in Israel, we probably know this. We have at least one mutual friend. Not necessarily, but so it makes everyone involved. It's like not like I have no, like here I see a person sit on a bench. You probably think I have no idea what's with you. You might be from everywhere and anywhere. In Israel, like I know where he's been and where he's going, and if he wasn't here, he was here. So it makes things more understand, more close and more compact. That's amazing. That's beautiful.
Three, two, one. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to another episode of the Jeoffrey Sarpong podcast. Today I'm here with Zib. How'd you pronounce his name?
Ziv.
All right. So I'm here with Zib. Zib, how are you?
Very good. Yes, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here, man. It's a great day, lovely day today. It's one of the very days in London. I always love it when the days like this too, because it just fosters great conversation. And just a good vibe in general.
Yeah, and we found a nice place.
So we did.
Cozy, and I can lay back.
You can lay back.
Don't have to be like...
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to bend. You know, it's perfect. It's perfect. Okay, so let's start properly. Tell me a little bit more about, who you are, how we met. First start there. How did we meet? How did we get here for this conversation? And just a bit quick background about who you are.
So basically, I'm from Israel. I lived in Israel all of my life. I'm 22 years old now. And I love England. I come for the last 4 years and come to England every year to London. And this time I just came here, to see some friends. And I went to an event, like a music jam session. And there was a girl who did poetry. and it inspired me. I never wrote poetry. I wrote like 3 poems in Hebrew, never in English, but it inspired me. I didn't want to write it in front of the people who performed, so I went to the upper floor. I wrote something. I said, okay, I will go down and perform it, and when I came down, the event was already over. So I thought, okay, never mind. At least I missed everything, but at least I wrote something, so I have something. I really liked it, and I just went on Google and I searched like open mic, spoken word. I didn't even know to call it poetry. I called it spoken word. And then it just suggested me some places, and I went to an open mic and performed, and I really loved it, and it was so fun to speak and for people to hear it. And without planning, just going on the stage, saying it, overplan it. It was great. Ready for my phone. And then I just fell in love with it. Met people, did it again and again. And it's like, I don't know, 5th, 6th performance, something like that. We met, you hosted the event, which was great. Yeah, and had a great time.
Yeah, I think it was amazing too. Like, I think, everyone has that moment where they hear someone say some poetry and then they get inspired. And then forever, there's like, oh my God, like, but it shows that you can do it too because it's like relatable, right?
Yeah.
I think that was amazing. Like, I'm so glad you had so much fun there. Poetry night is always the best for me. It's always amazing. Just people, just like, you see so many different types of poems too. So thank you for coming in. And I'm so happy here. Okay, so you mentioned mentioned growing up in Israel. Talk to me a little bit more about that. What was your childhood like? What's the memories that you remember? Because I always think about for me, and I'll go first, right? I always think about for me because, and I said this before on this podcast, I was raised in Ghana. So I wasn't born here, I was raised in Ghana. So I remember being in Ghana very, very young, running around. Like, that was it. Yeah. It's very different from here. Just running around, always. Football was the biggest thing. I'd get up in the morning, get a football, and then go outside, and I'll be outside playing football the whole day. Me and my friends just running around, getting up to no good.
How many people on each team?
Oh, it depended. Sometimes it'd be 2-2, sometimes it'd be like 11. The whole neighborhood would come together. We just put like balls on the floor as like goals. It was just amazing. It was like it's like a time of bliss, a time of like just complete, childish, just doing all that, going through the experience. I want to see if that's similar for you. What was your experience like? Do you remember when you were younger?
So I had a lot of experiences. I'm very fortunate. I come from a very good family with parents. And, I live in Tel Aviv, Israel. And I don't know how to simplify it. I think my most dominant, I don't know, it's memory, but like vibe or atmosphere, or like the thing that the symbol of everything. Like almost every video that you see of me from young age, I'm dancing. Almost every video. And not like dancing, I wasn't a dancer. But just every video, my mom filmed a lot with a video camera. Every time, and rock music, metal music, chilled music, quiet music, classical music. You just see me dancing, wearing costume, and the house was like a giant mess. Like everywhere toys and everywhere, and it's like really like unaesthetic. But that was the beautiful thing. It's like life came to me. I didn't have to come to life. I didn't have to say, okay, this is my drawer of toys and let's pick out of the 10 toys. It's like I fell on the ground while dancing and hit a toy and picked it up and did something with it. And my mom is a music teacher in kindergartens. So we have a ton of hula hoops and music and like accessories and stuff. So it was very playful, very free, very open, very accepting. And through that also came to the world and met, had a lot of hobbies, a lot of, and like always I changed obviously as years went by. But always like this playful thing of like, there are a lot of things to play with everywhere, and also like it's my right to play with them. So there is the possibility, and also why not speak?
Exactly. And that's beautiful. I think you mentioned music, and I want to start like breathing that in. I didn't know your mother was a music teacher. So talk to me about that. You were dancing a lot when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Where do you think that love for music comes from?
It was constantly in the house. Like playing, like we had CDs and stuff back when I don't think it was even all Metusari, it was the popular thing. And also because my mom is a music teacher, so when she speaks to the children, she always speaks in lines, because that gets the children attention. Even if she's just telling them to sit down, So she, I don't know, she would say like, play like a clown and then sit down. All of the kids do it. And I think she did it to me since I was a little baby. So my mind is like to rhythm, the rhymes, and everything was like, there was a song for good night, but not like a song, like a traditional long song, like a tune or something for everything. So I think music was really like a part of my whole essence.
That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. I think even for me, I remember like similar to you. There's when I see videos of me when I was a kid, my mom always showing them just me dancing. Like I remember there was once where we went to a friend of ours, like a 50th birthday, and like my mom's taking a video. There's a video of me. I must be like 8 or 9. And I'm in the middle of all these groups of people and I'm dancing, man. I'm like doing that, like, go seriously. And everyone's like cheering you on. Hey, hey, hey. And I'm like, I'm just a little kid. I was like, I don't remember that. What was I doing? Why was I in the middle of all those people? But I think music has just been such a, like, I think it's something to say about music, how, like, it kind of really transcends, like, age groups. It transcends language, I think, also. Like, you can really be any, you can listen to something, you don't even understand the language, but you can actually feel that, you know. Do you feel that too, really, when you hear some songs?
Yes, of course. You hear songs in the languages, I have no idea what you mean, but like, it hits you. It's like the melody behind, it's like two different people can say the same thing, but it will feel completely different. Or two stand-up comics can say the same joke, but only one of them will do it funny, because it's like the rhythm and the tune and just the atmosphere behind the actual content.
Yeah.
So I think music speaks like louder than the words themselves, and that's why also it transcends to every age.
Yeah, 100%. Who are some of your like music influences involved?
So I really liked, oh, so many.
Okay, let's so genre specific then.
Yeah, so I liked hip hop.
Okay.
A lot. So a lot of Israeli hip hop. There is a band called the Dag Nachash. They are They, some people overseas also know them. And rock music, I really like Green Day. And I was in their show like 3 days ago.
Yeah, you've hey, let's go.
And Green Day and Black Keys and who else? Like a lot of rock music, a lot of Pink Floyd, a lot of bands.
What is it about each genre that speaks to you? Like, do you have a thing? Is there a reason why you're drawn to hip hop or you're drawn to rock music or you're drawn to other types of music?
I think, every side of them, for me at least, expresses like a different urge. Like hip hop is like the urge of look at me, or not look at me because I less fancy that kind of hip hop, but like the ego. Even if you say something educational, even if you don't just say I have money, successful, you're like this. Like you're feeling yourself. Look at me, I know what I'm saying. So it's like when you feel confident, you want to speak your truth. It's like, and rock music, it depends which kind. But if it's like really bombastic music, it's like you just wilding like a kid, you don't trying to make sense. If it's more quiet and it's more about the essence of life itself, is listening.
I relate to that a lot. I relate to especially rock music. For me, rock music is like a kind of like a like, because obviously where it comes from, most of it comes from, you know, like America and like the 80s where they felt oppressed, they want to say something. So that kind of that voice is very strong. The voice of like, it's just me and my pen, I'm gonna write what I really think. And then like even like, you know how rock music has more lyrics than most music, you know, because it's very densely focused on what they're trying to say. And it's like, okay, I'm going to say this thing because this thing's what means something. Or even like for hip hop, sorry, and then rock music had to the opposite where it's like it's a feeling. You know, the guitar really gets right to your feeling of like, like I can't play any instruments, but I could feel that. Can you play instruments? What is it they're like learning and like being able to describe that, like exhibit that feeling for you?
So I play drums and bass. I think rhythm is always, even like to this day, I don't know if it will ever pass. When I eat with the rhythm.
Really?
I'm not trying to, I'm doing it without noise. I'm trying and when I walk, sometimes I walk and I time the steps with my hands and just everything, or I take the bottle and everything. Just like Barcelona, and also drums. Just immediately I felt comfortable with it. And I also play bass guitar. So I have the guitar lying around in my house, and I play with it. So it took me more time, but I just enjoyed it. Didn't really learn new things or evolve. And then when I was more adult, like when I was 16 or something, I learned bass for like 8 months. Yeah.
Talking about drums thing, what is it? Because I can't understand it. I look at it as so many things. I mean, I get that part, but it's more difficult than just like it's very much of a rhythm-based thing. What is it about drums? Why do you love it? How do you learn it? What is something that people don't understand about learning drums or playing drums?
I don't know. It's like playing with yourself because you're surrounded like with a microphone or you're singing in front of everybody, like portrait. And you're playing guitar, you hide behind your guitar. Which most of the time you're standing, you're like look. But drums, you're surrounded by so many boxes, and you're just you're with everybody, but you're also in your own world because you play with their pace and with their music, but also you're just with yourself playing, and also with the drums, you can really dictate where the play is going. Like everybody else can do the same thing. The guitar can do the same role. The lick can do the same thing. If they slightly change the rhythm, the whole song will have a different vibe, different atmosphere. But yeah, just I don't know, feel free.
It's a freeness that comes with it. Yeah. I can definitely see. I have some friends who play drums, and I can see that when they're on stage, they're really just like completely zoned in. Have you seen Whiplash?
No.
Whiplash.
Oh, I've seen some scenes. I didn't see the whole movie.
Yeah. Oh man, it's the drummer's dream, man. It's just like there's a scene at the end where he's just playing and he just really just goes into his own world. Like imagine every drummer has that kind of moment where they just kind of like sit back and it's like they're just lost into their own worlds. Okay, so let's actually go back to you talking to me about your childhood and where you grew up and where you're from. What are some like scenes or like sights or like smells or like describe to me what it's like to be from there? Like is there anything from there that kind of stays with you that still needs to remember, you know, about the place that you grew up specifically?
I think the thing that would be most unique to there as opposed to any other place is probably the culture and people. And I don't see that much different in culture. Like I meet people from around the world and we become friends. But still something about the essence of like, in Israel you can approach anyone you want, whenever you want, on the streets, and it will be completely normal. Or like, for one time I went to buy buckets because I went to play buckets in London. Actually, I didn't do it in the end, but I went to buy buckets to bask in London on the street. And I went on the street in Israel and I saw a guy and asked the Israelis, there's like a bucket or buildings, like a building equipment thing, like buckets. And perfect stranger. And he said, why do you need buckets? So it will never happen here. People will either, I don't know, they will just direct you to where you need, or they say, I don't know. And then I said to drum on them. And then he said, don't you have a drum set? He said,
straight conversation.
Yeah, and then he said, are you poor? Can you not afford the drum set? So it's not like people are uncivilized, but they're just, it's like free to talk whenever you want, and people can be loud and they can be, but in a cool way. It doesn't feel so different from you, I think, but it is, I like this also, this freedom.
That reminds me of Ghana, sorry to interrupt, that reminds me of Ghana too, because I remember speaking to friends when I went back. I remember the scene, I was in a bus with my mum, we were just talking, about something, I was like, something, and then the guy also is a packed bus, there's a guy behind us, is just sitting there listening. Then he just interjects into the previous and said, oh no, you should do this. And like, there's the imam, you need to tell him to do this. So who are you? Like, I don't even know you.
Introduce yourself. Today you tell me what to do.
Exactly. Like, but there, it's just like, if you're around me, you're a human being. Everyone's fair game. Whereas obviously here, it's like, I don't even care if you're sitting next to me. I'll never speak to you. But there is more loud, is more, I think there's a community. I think that's what it is. Because I've realized, I think there's that community aspect that kind of like the reason why, you know, like there's another way where it's like if you're a kid and you're misbehaving outside, another adult could come and tell you stop or could like discipline you even though your mom's not there. If you go tell your mom will discipline you twice. You know, why did you listen to him? What were you doing? So there's like that kind of culture, you know. Is that similar or is that different? How similar is that? Like how compact the culture is and how together everyone is.
I think in Israel it's just I wasn't aware of any of it growing up, but I think it's a small country with its own language. Like there's no other country in the world that speaks Hebrew. None. It's a very like now we are literally 9 million people in Israel. So when I was a child, probably I don't know 4 or something. So I think it creates a very like you said, like a community not necessarily community like everyone is friends or loving each other. That's not the way. There are a lot of complicated animosities in Israel as well. But like the sense of we are in the same boat. I know what I'm talking about. I know what you're talking about. You know, if you encounter with someone in Israel, we probably know this. We have at least one mutual friend. Not necessarily, but so it makes everyone involved. It's like not like I have no. Like here, I see a person sit on a bench. You probably think I have no idea what's with you. He might be from everywhere and anywhere. In Israel, like I know where he's been and where he's going, and if he wasn't here, he was here. So it makes that things more understand, more close and more compact. That's amazing. That's beautiful.
Okay, I want to also talk about like growing up and like internally, because I know for me, like I said, so I was raised in Ghana, but I moved here at 6 years up, and so for me, a lot of my upbringing was done here. A lot of my kind of like kind of teenage upbringing was done here, and for me that became very difficult because I was having to adapt to a new country, new friends, new like social system, like how everything is done here. I was having to adapt to that while also kind of growing within myself, and like dealing with myself and dealing with difficult things that comes with growing up as a guy. You know, just understanding like responsibility or like understanding your place in the world and what all that means and the chaos that comes with that. You know, question I have for you is that what was that like for you when you got to that age of having to deal with that? When you started to, was that difficult for you to just kind of look around the world and kind of embrace the chaos within yourself? And like, how was that kind of, you know, change from, you know, being a young kid to now you're kind of like an adult, young adult? What was that growth period for you? Was that difficult for you or was that okay?
I think my, like this time spiritual life came pretty late. I felt like until I was, I don't know, 19 years old or something, I knew how to navigate the world easily. Not like that everything worked, it's not like everything was a tremendous success, but I was really, 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 really loyal to myself without even realizing that I am. I didn't need to say, okay, listen to myself, because I was raised very freely. So let's say I met a bunch of people and I didn't mingle with them or didn't associate with them. So I might feel sad about it, but I didn't feel like my world shadowed. Like, and okay, either we will be friends, it will be good, or we will be friends that won't be good because I will not like them or they will, or something like that. Or maybe it's a failure and I'm very sad, but I will go home and I will see something interesting on TV or play the bass. So I felt like I could maneuver. I didn't feel like, I felt like maybe there is chaos outside, but there is not chaos inside me. But when I was like 19 years old, I think it started to change, and then it was like 3 years of misery and like how I don't know nothing about myself or the universe or nothing. And now I'm relearning how to do this. And I think for me now, and also if I'm trying to understand how did I do it when I was young, like trying to make sense of the chaos inside or outside, I think there are like the chaos happens on like 2 levels. So, or the way to solve it happens in 2 levels. So the one is like what suits you, and the other is what suits you naturally, and the other is what do you want to do unnaturally. So let's say you don't like chocolate, so you have no reason to eat chocolate because you don't like it, and I don't think you would sweat over it. You wouldn't be like, why don't I like it? Everybody likes it. You're okay, I don't like it.
Yeah.
But with a lot of other things, let's say you want to perform, but you're scared to speak in front of other people. You might go, why am I scared? I want to go. So is it something that you really want to do or something that you don't want to do? And I think it's about understanding when you should just say, okay, it doesn't suit me right now for whatever reason, don't even need to understand it. And when you want to say, okay, I do want to do it, and then do it in a way that is, in the way that most is suitable for you. But because jumping in the water before it can work, but it can also make you
Drown.
Exactly. Yeah, but that's the perfect. There you go, save it. It's perfect. You also might survive, but you will hate water for the rest of your life, and you will never perform again. So it's about finding the balance of like, okay, this is just I don't want to do it. It's not that it's not me, I don't want to do it, and this I want to do. Maybe it's hard, but okay, let's do it in a way that suits me. And then you can be peaceful and feel less chaotic because you have your shape. You don't need to adjust to everything you see and be things that you're not.
Okay, I love that. I love that point. Let's go deeper into that too, because I feel like learning to accept yourself, that age I think everyone has that. You mentioned around 19 years old. I think everyone has that around that age, especially in the now time that we live in with technology or anything distractions. It's very hard for people to accept themselves because they get portrayed, fed so many other ways they could be. You mentioned like coming to terms of what you're not naturally supposed to do. Like you were saying, if you don't like chocolate, but you force yourself to eat chocolate, why would you do that? And like I don't understand why, because they push chocolate is very good, eat chocolate, and everyone's like, okay, well, I guess, but then they don't understand themselves. Like maybe you just don't like that thing. I think that's a very, very important thing for me personally, speaking for myself, right? The area that I grew up in was very much like a bad area. It was very much like hoods and gangs and all these things. And then because that's the area you grew up in, kind of feel like you have to do that. Kind of feel like you have to get involved in that.
Yeah.
But I've never been that kind of guy. You see me, I like poetry. Like I don't do that, right? But like being around those kind of people, I always felt like I wasn't accepting myself. I always felt like a disturbance, because I was like, well, this isn't really who I am. But like I don't know anywhere else to go. I think going through that, and after a while, realizing with myself, actually, that's not who I am. I don't like chocolate.
Yeah.
I love poetry. I love writing. I love this. I love music. I love like talking to people. I love like embracing people, like getting to open up and like having that kind of shared humanity. That's what matters to me.
By the way, about the poem that you wrote about love and ambition, I think it's connected, because when you are ambitious, it makes you want to do great things that maybe your most simple want and desire, maybe you don't even want it. Like your most simple, your child version, the chocolate version. Like maybe you want to run for politics, whatever, okay? And your child version is like, no, I want to stay at home and I want to play football. I don't want to do. The ambition tells you, I want to do it because I can do A, B, C, and it will be great. And maybe that's when this love has a fight, because you're forcing to do yourself to do something you don't love, or maybe you're forcing yourself to do it in a way that you don't love or doesn't suit you or something like that. Because, for example, when I performed the poem, I was so happy and relaxed. I read some people loved it. And then for the second time or third time, I thought, okay, I need a new poem. I can do I can do every poem again and again and again. And then I felt like, okay, I need to write a poem.
Yeah.
And then I didn't want to, because it didn't came out good. So I said, okay, I will perform the same poem 6 times. Some people will hear it 6 times. Some people will hear it for the first time, and it's okay. And after a bunch of times, I wrote a new poem.
Yeah.
So it's not that you need to not be ambitious, but get there slowly in a loving way, which also, at least for me as a sensitive person, I think it's the most efficient way also. I forced myself to come to ambitious achievements for a long time. It worked. I had achievements, and then I collapsed and I couldn't do any achievements anymore, and I need to rest. So I think doing it in the more loving, not necessarily slow, but like a way that suits me. Not like, okay, I want to do this, so let's do it. But okay, I want to do this, so let's get close. Let's see the vibe. Let's like in a way, and then that's, I think, with balance.
I completely agree. I think you mentioned that kind of poem that I wrote about love and ambition, and you're 100% right, because that's what it was. You're pinpointing it. It was that kind of because I mentioned a lot in my poetry. At my core, I just want to be at home with my family.
Yeah.
At my core, I just want to just play with my family, just like do the things I always done as a kid.
Yeah.
But again, it also comes with these gifts. It also comes with when you think you're able to do something. It's like, I'm in a unique position to do this thing. I have this gift of being able to say words in a straight type of way that makes sense to people.
Yeah.
That can affect people. And so like I feel like I have to do this. I feel like I'm called to do this. The ambition comes there. But it's like how I keep balancing both, because like I just really want to just be at home.
Yeah.
But also if I just stayed at home, this part of me wouldn't allow me to do that, because people like, you're wasting all this opportunity.
Yeah.
You're wasting all this potential. But I think like what you said, it's about having that, it's the way you do it. If you're just so hard on yourself every single day, like you gotta do this, you have to do this. There's no love there. There is no love there. That's why the voice in the ambition voice was very harsh, and love was very much like understanding, because like love understands why I make choices. And Mission's like, no, just keep going.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we can do it. We'll get there, but we'll get there with me, with love, with like patience and like, care, Okay, well, if I spoke you through that, I would very much like tie a bow on this one. What advice would you give to someone about accepting themselves? What advice would you give to someone, a young man, about coming to terms with the nature of reality, like as we speak about it, and actually moving forward in life?
I think advice, and it might sound kitschy or like a phrase that you hang on your wall, but I think it's not like it's deeper than that. As actually, for me at least, I think that it works. Which is, I will do it in a metaphor. Let's say you want to come back to your house, okay? And you were lost. You woke up, you're somewhere, you don't know where your house is. And you start looking for your house. So the equivalent of that is that someone searching for themselves or searching from who they are and therefore also accept themselves. It will be ridiculous to expect that you will walk and suddenly your house appear. Okay? What will happen first? And it can happen if you are really lucky, it's a big coincidence, but what else would happen? You won't see your house first, but you see other things that you recognize. Okay, this is where my teacher used to live. Okay, let's go. I don't know where it is. It's probably around it. Oh, this is the shop that I used to buy it. Okay, and then you find all of the things that you know that are familiar to you, that you like, and then it's my house. And I think we are, and it's not the human race's fault because we are not taught to do this, but we expect immediate solutions, and in a way that it's like, okay, let's say for example, I am let's say for example I'm unconfident in social situations. So let's say I say, okay, every day I will go to a party until I'm used to it, whatever. I go to a party, then it doesn't work. It's usually work. Maybe it would have worked. Okay, maybe it doesn't. Again, you won't find your house immediately. It's okay. Let's find one thing that feels good. One thing. Okay, what is similar to that thing? Maybe it also feels good. What is similar? Or, for example, let's say you can't help but make jokes because you're stressed. So and you want to stop. Again, you can't stop immediately because there is a reason you do it. You feel like you're in danger. You have to tell jokes. If you stop immediately, again, it will be too harsh. You will hate it. You will jump in the water and hate the water for the rest of your life. But if you say, okay, this joke I won't say, okay? Or let's say, or you see the things that are close, and then only when you are closer to the goal, you see reality clear, and then you can go and see it. But expecting for me to stay at this place without moving and know exactly how to get to my house is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I have to find things that are closer, dive in, and find. So I think if you don't accept yourself, if you're not at peace with yourself, or if you don't know who is yourself, okay, what can you lean on? Can you lean on the supermarket that you know? Can you lean on this garden that you know? Okay, what do you know about yourself? Okay, that's good. What is similar to it? Like the whole answer will not come as a whole unique.
100% agree. I think so. I think the analogy of like what you recognize close to yourself is so true. Because I really did feel that in my life too. It's like when I was in a point where I didn't know what I wanted to be, I looked for things that I cared about that kind of made sense to me. To me, that was writing. To me, that was like poetry a little bit. Way before I started writing poetry, I was like, oh, that looks interesting. I like how they do that. I'll go to open mics and be like, that's so cool. They could do that, But I didn't think I could do it. I just thought that, like, again, I didn't recognize myself. I recognized something that looked like it.
Yeah.
And then slowly, I was, oh, that's a house knit. And then I found it, because of that, just the process, the thing that you go through. Another question I had too was about freedom. It was about this, once you accept yourself, there's this sense of like, I've attained freedom.
Yeah.
And I think a large part of that is, for me, also just traveling is, the places you kind of feel like, why am I mentally bogged down about this one place when the world is so beautiful? Well, there's so many different cultures, there's so many things in the world that I can see. What has your experience been like with traveling and like that kind of idea? What has it told you about freedom and attaining that kind of perspective?
Wow. So I had a very kind of opposite, I think, confusion the most, because I saw so much possibilities. I felt lost in all of these possibilities, and it wasn't like I didn't know where to start. It's like when I was 20 years old, I went with a friend to Amsterdam, And as well, I met so many people and I did so many things. Like, there isn't, like, I go back home and now home seems random to me. Like, you think about home is home. But I could have also grown up here. I'd met people there and there are people there also. And then I went to England. By the way, we talked about before the podcast, we talk about magic. So there is a magic convention every year in Blackpool.
Oh, wow.
Yes, really, it comes. And I go every year.
Okay, yeah.
And I went there. And I met like some of the world's most famous magicians. And I showed them magic tricks that I created. And they were like, wow, it's amazing. How did you do it? And I felt like so I wanted to do more. I wanted to, okay, so I found you people. And I come, yes, but also I found too many groups of people. Because I came back home. He said, okay, I can be a teacher at a school because I like education. I can also be a writer of movies and screenplays. I can be a musician. And also it's like different lifestyles. You know, musicians or certain family live like a certain lifestyle in general.
Yes, of course, yeah.
And poets are different.
Yes.
And magic is different. So I can either do this and that, or I can throw myself in Spain and do magic with cars all day. And I felt like there is no identity of me inside all of those options. It's like a billion different mirrors, but every mirror reflects a thing that is different. And what mirror is actually me? And I think that's part of the confusion that I said before that I had of like, what is the word, what is the universe, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think there's a good, I can't remember if it's like a poem or something by this person. And he talks about like a fig tree, where it's like the tree's got so many branches. And the person sits there looking, so I could be a teacher, I could be a poet, I could be a mother, I could be, and she just sits there looking at the tree for so long, and then she realizes that she's dead. Because she just sat her whole life thinking I wrote that.
No pressure.
But like, it was just that imagery of like, she just sat there thinking, oh my God, I could be all these different things.
Yeah.
And I don't know which one to be. And I have that also because, you know, obviously I do podcasts, I do football, I do jiu-jitsu, I wasn't sure which one was really me. I was like, well, if I'm a poet, I have to just do poetry. And, you know, I think the world told you being one thing. I think, that's not real. Yeah. That's not, like you said, you did magic. I did magic too. Actually, I want to talk about magic, guys. So talk to you about magic. What does magic mean to you? What is your introduction to magic? What was your fascination in magic? What's your curiosity about magic? Why do you love it?
I love it as an art form. You know, I thought that at the beginning I thought about, I don't know, some specific things that I think, but in general, it's just an amazing art form. So I like music or poetry. It's just such an amazing art form. And I think it's your ability to create a wonder, and a wonder that everyone sees as well. It's not only something like every once in a while or all the time, I think, but you can have a thought and be, wow, this thought is phenomenal. This thought will change the world. It's magical. It's the best thing ever. But either but nobody hears about it, or you tell them, but it's hard to put it into words. It's not like you can share it, and even if you share it, they might say it in a slightly different way. They see it from their own angle. But when you display a magic trick in your hand, and everybody sees the same magic, everybody sees the same wonder, and everybody like, how did this happen? But what I like about it is not their reaction, it's something that I created it.
Yes.
It's like the ability to create something, and also the smart process behind it. Yes, a lot of magics are so smart being, and when you create something, you think, if I do this and I put it here, then then people, you build something that people cannot grasp, cannot hold it. How did this happen? And it's it just makes me feel amazing.
I completely agree. I think you said the word wonder, and I think that's what got me into it. I remember seeing, don't know if you know Penn and Teller? Of course, continue and then as you know this. So Penn and Teller, I remember seeing one of the videos of one of the tricks on like a video they did or whatever. I remember sitting there going like, wow, because obviously, again, they're performers. I don't know how much good musicians they are, but they're very good performers. And I was sitting there going, that is incredible. Like, how do you do that? And then that question, I think that's the question, like, how did you do that? And for me, my brain is like, if I have a question like that, I have to know. And so, like, for me, magic is the one thing that I love, but also hate. Like, I love it in the sense of like, I need to know how did you just surprise me? But also, hey, it's like I can't ever figure out. And so I went on a cold journey. I had cards myself. I started like sharing to my friends. Some people would know this. People watching, you know, in that era when I would like go to people like pick a card, any card, and pick a card, and then I do a trick, and you know, I call it on the circle of life. It was just hilarious. Like it was just like such a. Yeah, I think that's what it was. It was just like a loving thing, like someone from deep within. But you're gone. What did you about Karen tell us? You understand?
I'm curious about the circle of life trick.
Oh, so I can explain it to you. You know, as much as
Like tell me just the effect. I don't explain.
it's a very, very simple trick.
Yeah.
It's just like you pick a card, and then I think they take the card out of the deck, they look at it, and then I create a circle somehow, and then like I'll move the cards after they put the card shuffle, they create a circle. If you have to pick one, the pick one that isn't a card, I go, okay, cool. I go like boom, and then I think I flick it, and then I flip the whole circle off, and then one of the cards their card is showing up. So like I tear a circle, go like that again. I can't remember how I did it. And there's another one.
Cool, because I don't think I know this one. Usually I know like every,
all of them.
Yeah.
There's another which is very, very simple. This one is even more simple than that. So it's like you pick a card, they pick up the card, they put it to the top, you do the trick with the top, the card, and then I go, then I put it there, I catch it, and 2 cards are left to the side.
I know.
And I'm like, that is not your card. Yeah. And so.
By the way, you meant the trick that the card keeps bouncing to the top.
Yeah.
You know what is the name of the trick?
What?
The ambitious card.
Really?
Yeah. It's like the card that it keeps rising to the top. Ambitious.
Yeah. You need some love, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, talk to me about some of your favorite traits.
So I love music. So I created a lot of tricks when I was young, and some of the tricks I created like tricks that were I really loved them and I thought they were good, and then I realized they already exist. But it was amazing because I felt like I was 10 years old and I created a trick that Juan Tamariz, which is one of the greatest magicians ever, created when he was 40 or something. And I created more and more. And then once I know when I was 17 or something, I created a trick that was like really unique, really smart, the way behind. Actually, the trick in itself, pretty simple. Like a bunch of people pick cards and you know them. You can do everything but it's a simple trick. But the way behind it was, I think, the most original trick. Okay, it was really something new.
I wish you had some cards. This is amazing.
Usually I have, but I don't have enough. Yes. And then when I came to England for the show, for the convention, I showed this trick to like a million magicians, including some names that I grew up on watching.
Oh, wow.
And literally, not a single person, one Spanish guy knew.
Yeah.
Not a single person knew how it works.
Wow.
And I showed it like to people that they do magic from the age of, I don't know, 7, and they're 50, and that's what they do every day, all day. They had no clue where to begin, how to think about it. And when we showed it to them, they were like this. And then I sent an audition to Penn and Teller with this trick. And I did an audition in real life in Spain.
Oh, wow.
For Penn and Teller.
Oh, wow.
I didn't meet them, it was the producer.
Yeah,
was there. And they told me that I got accepted to the show and they want me to perform. And they said, "You're in the show right now." Really? I said, yeah, and I'm going to be in Penn and Teller. And they said, yeah, we want you to be on the show. And then when I came home, they wanted the video, and I sent them, they didn't reply, and somehow it didn't come. Told me that in the end there is no spot for this season, so it didn't happen. Then I wanted to do another audition, but again I was too stressed. I had so many options, like should I do this trick or this trick or this trick, and I just didn't do it again. But I asked for it, I love this show.
That's amazing, dude. Do you a native kind of tell? That's amazing, dude. That's amazing. I need to see what the tricks are. After we'll go find a deck of cards. I need to see this trick because no, I think like you talk to me about what you think that is. What do you think that connects people with magic? What do you, as a magician yourself, what do you think that other people see when they see magician? What do you think that says about like life?
It depends. I think it depends how you present the trick, like everything else. If you do it to outsmart them or to say like I'm going to wow you, they might be defensive. It's like this. Because I think, let's say there is a comedian on stage, and you are one of the members of the audience. You feel free to laugh because you're not expected to laugh. They didn't say, okay, for the next joke you will laugh.
Yeah.
But let's say he would have set you on stage with him. Everyone is looking at you, and it says a joke. Even if it's the funniest joke, we probably not laugh because you win them, I suppose. So with magic, if I go like, if I send this vibe of I'm going to do something, you will be amazed. Even if you are amazed, you want to show you will be distant.
We're expecting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you just do it as a casual thing, Like, by the way, check it out. You show something, then people can love his ears. Then has experience something.
Our connection really good. Yeah, our connection to okay. See, tangent from magic to something kind of opposite. I wanted to talk about logic.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about, you mentioned that before. Yes, logic. I wanted to talk about logic. And like kind of like first explain to me, what does logic mean to you? And why are you so interested in that kind of field of studies?
So I expect, okay, so when I say logic, so there are like two ways. This word can mean two things. One is like the way that we use every day of like, it's logic, or use logic or whatever, or it doesn't make sense. Like, and there's the field of logic, which is which basically the way I view it, this field is, its purpose is to realize and fix all of the, I'm not sure how to say, the mental leaps that we did, the mental fucks, you know what I mean?
I know exactly.
Which we have so many.
Yes.
So many of the conclusions we come to are based on their wrong deductions, wrong forms of thinking. And I think personally, and why do I find it so important? Because at first, by the way, I used to not love it. Because I'm very artistic, I'm very free, and logic is very strict. It has both. But I saw the importance of it. It was like ambition that drove me, and now I actually like it. I enjoy it. I think not all of the world problems can be solved by logic, but all of the ones that can be solved, okay, I will frame it differently. We can't solve everything with logic, but everything we can solve is with logic. Okay? No matter what. If you're parenting a child, and the child is going through something you don't know how to help them, you might not succeed. Logic is the way to go at it. What is he experiencing? What helps those kind of situations? And you analyze it. And if you're, I don't know, you're creating a commercial, okay, what is it's the exact, and no matter what, relationship, you run a country, everything is logic. And I think,
I completely agree. I think there's for me, I agree with you. For me, there was a battle because I'm a very creative person. I'm a very like spiritual person. So it's like, to me, logic was very like hard for me to grasp. But then I think my brain works, I think everyone's brain works just two ways. The right side of my brain, for the rationale, there was things to be explained. I think that's why I love science. That's why I love interviewing like professors, because I'm like, okay, explain to me how this actually works. Not my feelings, not in my wise think, not my logical lapses, like my emotional, like, how does that actually work? And I'll explain to you, okay, if this is what I studied, this is what I found. I think that's so fascinating because it gives you an idea and knowledge about the world, and you can see how you can improve on which parts, I think for me, like you mentioned too before when we were speaking about persuasion, how important that is. I think persuasion is super important right now in the world because there's so much information being thrown at us. To differentiate yourself, you have to be logical and like understand what you're trying to say. How do I persuade someone? Understanding that, you can understand how people do it. You can understand how you can use the dentistry. Do you understand? Do you agree with that? Do you think? And question follow up to that. What do you think is something like persuasion? Like how do you think that's like for you has been used, or how do you think like being persuasive has helped you in life?
Persuasive, you mean like convincing?
Convincing, yeah.
It helped me a lot. Like a lot of things that I did were really depend. Like, for example, the audition to Penn and Teller, they posted on their Instagram, we have no room for card magic. We already have too much, and my trick was cards. But I said, okay, we'll go there anyway. I will persuade them. And I came and I said this, and I came all the way from the other side of Spain on a 1 hour notice, ran to the train and did this, and they were like, okay, show us the trick. Okay, if it's good. So, and even that, it was based on my culture. If you break it down, you can understand, okay, why were they persuaded by it, and why did it work?
Break it down for me. How would you persuade someone? If there's something like that example that you use, that's a very good example. How to lead of your passion. How do you, if someone's in a situation where they need to persuade, let's say a job interview, like how do you get across how much you care?
So I think one of the branches of it, because there are many methods and stuff, but let's say one of the branches of it is you either need to find a solution for the other side's need, or create a need and then find a solution for it. What do I mean by that? Let's try to find, for example, I used to work as a substitute teacher in Israel at like elementary schools, and there were two kids who were speaking and they needed them not to speak because they needed to say something for the whole class, and they were interrupted in the class. So it's either I break them down and then they will hate me, they will sit against each other, and you can do it, but it's, or you need to understand, okay, what is the need that makes them talk to each other? Maybe I can answer this need without them talking. They will have the same experience with a different thing, okay? Like cooking. You cook and let's say you cook and you add tomato sauce and it works. Okay, maybe something with similar flavor with tomatoes will also be tasty. So I thought, okay, why are they speaking with each other? Why? Okay, they want to be together, they want to do something together, and they don't want to be alone and listen. For example, it might be many things, but one is it. So instead of telling them, okay, be quiet, and they won't, I can say, okay, be quiet together. Like watch for themselves. Watch that he's not talking. Watch that he's not talking, and for 2 minutes, and then I will. So you replace their need, or also when you do like social campaigns of like not commercials for a product. Like for example, I don't know how quickly can I. Okay. Let's say you want to do a campaign against bullying. Okay? How do you start? You say, okay, why do bullies bully? Why do they do it? Okay, so let's say I will do it on a very superficial level to not speak for an hour. Let's say they want to feel strong. Okay, so you need to talk to this. You need to replace, you need to let them still feel strong because that's what they need without bullying. If you let them stop bullying, they won't, because that's what gives them what they need. It's like me being hungry, you tell me don't eat. It's either you give me something else that would fulfill my hunger, or I will eat. So for example, you can create a slogan that use it, that make them believe that they're still strong. For example, you can say that if I can find a quick one.
I feel like that, just thinking.
You can say, don't bully, you're stronger than that. And it's like, first of all, I'm strong. I don't need the affirmation.
Yes.
I don't need the affirmation of the side that I'm picking up on because I'm already strong. Second of all, true strongness is not picking on you. It's being stronger and stuff. Or let's say, horrible example, but okay, so let's say what's the breakest one is a control on the other side. Okay, before you control someone else, control yourself. And then, okay, it's like, so you have to, so that's only one way to use logic. Different problems has different equations, and you have to use logic, but in a different way.
Different ways, yeah.
But it's like, okay, if you want to make someone do something, he needs to either want or needs to do it. So you need to give him that need or give an answer to the need that he already has. And there are many different equations for different stuff. If your child feels lonely, okay, what causes loneliness? Okay, what's the opposite of what causes it? How can you give it to him? How can you? So it's very simple. It's very logical. You think about it, it's like, what are you talking about? Of course. But until you start to implement it on everything that you do, you don't realize how much you don't do it in your day-to-day life.
100%.
You just act on instinct.
100%.
You imitate what you saw. Only when you analyze things carefully and analytically like this, you understand the solutions are done. You sit with pen and paper for 10 minutes and you solve very complicated problems.
Yeah, 100%. And I think there's also like an aspect of like personal evolution that comes with it too. Because you're right, when we're so young and we grow up, we just hear all of this information that's been given to us, and we just kind of, like you said, we get into a habitual thing where we don't really like think about it. We just kind of do it over and over again. But then when you start applying logic to your scenario, it's like, wait, why do I do this? Why do I sit on my phone and just like scroll every day? Oh, because they made these apps so that they can like attack my dopamine systems. Yeah. No way, I should probably be careful of that because that's gonna fry my dopamine systems over a longer time. My attention span is gonna go low. I used to like reading, but I don't read anymore. Oh, because all I did was TP, and these things are way more easier to digest. I don't remember anything. So maybe I want to get back to reading because I always want to remember the stuff that I read. So all these like understanding that and applying these kind of like systems, I call it the systems kind of like just based on systems. I call it like understanding your systems and being able to implement it. Yeah. You can like figure out what systems control you. So that's your habits, how you think about stuff when you get up in the morning. You know, for me, it's like also like spiritually, like how you look at the world, how do you interact with people, how open you are, you know, how, you know, you're unsure about yourself, which means, you know, if we're thinking about someone else. These things can be kind of like applied logically, or you can think about, okay, what's the best way for it?
Yeah.
What's the best way for me to find a way to, like, you know, kind of like be with people, you know? For me, I've understood it to be compassion, you know, like, and that's what the question I will get into now too. Like this idea of compassion too. I think the whole world is losing that. I think there's an aspect of like, you know, like we spoke about the logical side of it. Sometimes it's too logical. Sometimes it's too much like, oh, it's me versus you. You know, like we think about ourselves. We don't think about the rest of the people, you know. But so I feel like the compassion with human beings is being lost, you know. And there is a need for us to bring that back within the next person we speak to. Because without compassion, we start like breaking off into groups. And when we start breaking into groups, it's not good for us because we can't live on this earth by ourselves. We need to come together. We need to come together in order to move forward, strive forward towards a peace, strive forward towards something that all of us can be part of, to be part of the human race. Otherwise, it's going to be just downhill and then all of us, what was the point of us, you know? There's that idea, you know, I think compassion is at the core of that. What do you think about that? What do you think the word of compassion is and has been in your life, but also just in the world at large? How core do you think that is, or do you think we can get a future where we're going towards it?
I think it's this thing that removes your guards, and then if you see things clearly. That's, I think, the most important thing if you think about it. Not in the personal level, but in the world level. It's like, if you don't have compassion for a thing, for someone, we don't have all of the fears coming, things, and like, why is it even my problem? You feel compassionate towards someone, towards a group. You can, okay, I decided that I care about this group. At least, I care a little bit. And then, okay, maybe something can help.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And yeah, I think people that feel good are good. And the more they get compassion, the more they feel good, and then the more they have compassion to give also. And it's I don't think it's a stopper. I think it encourages good things to happen. I think some people, especially today in the social media productive age, it's like love and compassion is like a thing that you do, I don't know, in some tribe, in some country, or I don't know. You say, maybe in Vietnam they sit on the river and give compassion to each other, but here compassion doesn't get things going. I think the opposite. I think compassion and love in general, positive qualities, positive acts, can persuade other people and can move things, can move mountains. Generally weaker than the negative things. Negative things can destroy, which is not the same thing. Like, to build is much harder. If you have a tower of cubes, there are only a few angles where you can put it and the tower won't fall. But there are infinite angles you can put it and the tower will. I can put it there, it won't be a tower. So if you're negative, you can make tremendous changes. Even bigger and faster changes than with love. 100%, that's what I think. But they won't be to build. With love and with patience, I think you can build things that are more positive and that lasts longer. Not necessarily change more, but fix more and build more.
I agree, 100% agree. I think currently we live in a world where people are trying to destroy. They're trying to destroy the systems that came from. You know, I'm a religious person, and I've seen like how they've done it to reduce religion, you know. And obviously there are negatives with religion. There's negatives with everything. Any human made is going to have negatives because just too many people for it to all be viewed in the most possible way, for it to all be viewed in the same way that helps people. And then, because of the negative way, it's easy to destroy it, to reveal it. This thing was supposed to be pure, but we've just kind of destroyed it. And then we're trying to build something in its space. We're trying to and I think that's a difficult thing, because when we destroy what comes into this place, we don't even know. We just want to destroy it for the sake of destruction.
Exactly. And then even if someone comes and builds, it builds on the destruction.
Or
on the bad fundamentals that the other guy left.
And then that's always going to be flawed.
Yeah.
Because somebody's going to come back and it's going to be the same thing. Endless cycle human beings seems to go on.
Yeah.
what do you think, the question I have for you, what do you think is something that we don't understand as a human species? What's one thing that you wish everyone understood about users' reasons? If you had it. Very big question. I like big questions in this podcast.
I think a specific thing that I learned from logic, which I said, but it was said in a different way, that everything is made of things. Okay, it used to sound abstract, but it's getting really practical. Okay, like you say compassion. There isn't such thing as compassion. There is, because we called it that way, and we took a certain element, certain qualities, certain things, and we called it put it in the basket and called it compassion. Now there is a thing, but the most basic form of compassion is not compassion. It's lies on a lot of other things. Why it's made up. And if you believe in God and things that are not made by human, then those things are facts or stables or like forces of nature, so like gravity. And you can use those things like not any way that you want, because you have limits because of the way it works, but nothing is nothing is okay, this is that. And when you understand that you can
Take it apart.
take apart everything, you also rebuild it. Sounds pretty abstract, but I think it's like trying to find an example for it.
I think I know what you mean. So let me see it if I think you mean that like everything, and like your example of compassion, everything is built up with things. So like the little actions, the little things that we do, little ideas. That's why I come into it. So like the idea of like a God or the idea of something like that, you take that, you kind of like, you can strip it apart to what the actions, what would that be like? What would they want you to do? And then compassion is made up of those things. So it's like, if you really want something, you really care about something, break it down to like first principles, I call it, to the first idea where that they came from, then you can build it. And so like we care about things, if we should think about where they came from and how we can like put the stuff together and like make it into what it is. So, the things that sustain by the things that hold it up. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah.
I
I think and the levels that it goes are so deep, and all of the branches, all of the billion branches of the world, of like so different cultures and emotions and experience and people and history, all comes down to very few things that drive everything, which are basically our needs, our needs, our desires, which is also our need. That's the basic formula. You see, okay, what needs that this answer to? Okay, how can I shift it, replace it, build it, and make it bigger, keep it still, and it's literally about everything. Like a fight is not a fight. Okay, when you fight with your partner, it's not a fight. It's okay. It's the way that this satisfaction shows. It's not even the dissatisfaction itself. It's only the way that it shows. Okay, it shows in screams. Why does it show with screams? Because psychologically, when you say something louder, you think maybe you will get heard. Okay, but then you understand. Saying things louder doesn't make people understand. Might make them fear, and even that's not like a fact. You can break it down. Like why does saying something louder doesn't suddenly make people understand it? Why would it? Okay, it's the same thing. You say the same thing. Maybe it will make them feel it, but they won't understand the claim that you're saying. And then you build it, and then you can understand. Okay, what is a fight? Okay, what does fight come to answer? Okay, and then what is a good fight? What is a bad fight? And if you combine the acceptance of that you're a simple human, and that you need to fight, and you need to scream, and you need to be human. You can't be a robot, like in any way. But it gives you this balance that you don't get lost in this phase. Don't get lost into, wow, this fight and this. It's like you understand what everything is made of. You're not scared of it anymore because you understand it. Things might still not work, but you know the general idea of how to fix them, and know that if you don't fix them, it might not be your fault because you understand it so well and you tried so hard and it still didn't work. Maybe it was too complicated to do at that time.
Those are tried you had, right?
Yeah.
What if you look around, or what gives you hope? What gives you hope and makes you feel like fuzzy about how the world is and human beings?
Which burns?
What?
Good parents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I said there's a wood bird. It's just like wood bird.
Birds.
Oh, that's why I was very surprised because it was very like when you talk about it, it's very
wood. No.
I'm sorry.
No. Good parents. Good.
Love you.
My first answer was good children, not all children, all people over. Like again the philosophical question, but I think good teaching, good education, be more precise. That's the way to change. Because I will not kill someone, and I will not. It's not because I am a good person. No, I had the good environment, good education. I had. If you grew up in a place, it's so ironic that the police siren is way so stick about it, or the ambulance siren. But if you grew up in a place where they're flying, and you wanted to go to one blue. And the only, I don't know if only, but let's say, the only meaning that you saw was in crime. Because you will get respect, you will get friends, and you get a mission, and you get something to be good at. And that just might be what you will be. I had a guitar in my house, and I had other stuff. So I think if education is good, and people find the healthy way that is not hurting towards themselves or the environment to answer their needs. Because last thing I said about this, again, it's the same needs. If I do a crime, or if I play music, or if I do this, or if I do that, I'm answering the same needs in general. If you're teaching kids from young age, before their habits and their systems are already like this, to do it in a healthy way, I think immediately, not by my hope, not by my vision, but by logic, cause and effect, world will be undescribably better. Just as I am undescribably more healthy than some other people, and it's pure cause and effect. If I was there, I wouldn't be exact person as them, but I wouldn't be as I am now. So I think it's cause and effect, and I think the way for change is the educational system. It will take a long time, but I think that's the.
So thanks, beautiful. I 100% agree with you, man. Yeah, I could say so much on that, but I think you said it perfectly. Last question I have, I always ask people on this podcast when they come on, what is the meaning of life? Like, when you look around from your personal vantage point, from your personal point of view, what do you think we're here? What does it all mean?
I think, to be sound superficial, but most basic meaning is to feel good. It's not about feeling good at the expense of other people. It's all about feeling. And good also is not just a simple good. Now I'm eating pizza, I'm feeling good. There is short-term good and there is long-term good. Having a good life experience and I think that's the best good. And obviously you can find meaning in giving it to other people. But again, I think that's what like if the world was utopia, I don't think I would need to dream of an education system. I could just then do the next thing that I want to do that will not hurt anybody. That also makes me feel good. So keeping your experience in the environment experience as good as you can, as optimal as you can. Each one with their definition is good. That as long as it doesn't harm, I don't know. So,
I completely agree. I think that's what I recognized when we met, is that you have your own good that you're striving for. And I appreciate it because I have that same goal of trying to do as much good in the world as possible. And I've said this many times, I think there's a kind of like a lack of people who believe in the world, who believe we can change for good, who believe, because the world is whatever, and I'm pretty sure in the our parents, it's been the same way since then. But we're here, so someone must have decided, that the world is actually worth it. It's worth saving. It's worth trying. It's worth making something out of it. So I appreciate you for doing this. I appreciate you for everything we're doing. Thank you very much for sitting down to me today. And
thank you very much. He is great. He's something great. So yeah, thank you very much. I really enjoyed it. It was fun. Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Let's do another one.
I was gonna say I didn't do the one again. Yeah. Next time I want magic. I gotta bring the magic cards.
All right.
I could do one of magic.
All right.
Appreciate you, bro. All right. Thank you. Until next time, guys. Peace.